His Royal Highness Prince Philip has died. He was known as in a sense, a very conventional person. He well-educated, thoughtful, ramrod straight military man. In all sorts of ways, he defined normal, traditional ways of living. I also think, though, he was deeply countercultural for the world in which we live today. His Royal Highness was baptised into the Greek Orthodox Church, and that baptism he held to all his life. I also hear, and from those who knew him and saw him, that when he went to worship in church, he took it seriously, and he was deep in prayer many a time. I also know from stories that people have told that he enjoyed discussing sermons, but he also read and wrote religious books, books about faith and theology, and he was deeply interested in discussing, debating and reflecting on theology and God in our lives. We also hear that it was his idea to advise the Queen, that she should share her faith in the Christmas broadcast, share the importance of Christ and the worship of Christ for her, to her peoples. I think these are all deeply countercultural today. To honour your baptism, to remember that Jesus is Lord, is not normal these days. Prince Philip honoured his baptism and in that way proclaimed that Jesus is Lord. In private prayer, it's clear that he took worship seriously, that he understood the importance of honouring God, loving the Lord your God before all else. In that sense, too, he is countercultural for our society today, which puts God to one side. It's also countercultural to be debating, reflecting and considering God and what he says to you and taking it seriously into your life. Yes, being thoughtful, exploring God is something often parked. Oh, you don't want to do that anymore. But for Prince Philip, counterculturally, he said we should consider God and reflect upon him and explore and debate and consider all matters of theology. And then lastly, there's this whole point about advising the Queen to share her faith. That too is countercultural, actually, in a world where we're encouraged to privatise our faith and to marginalise the church, it seems. He said that we should share our faith, give testimony to the way that Christ is the centre and the hope and the rock upon which we lean. And in all these ways, Prince Philip was countercultural. And in all these ways, he speaks to us of the importance of honouring our baptism, that Jesus is Lord, of praying our prayers and taking worship seriously, of thinking and reflecting, considering God and the truths of the Christian faith, and being willing to reflect and let them influence our lives. And then being ready just to share how that faith that we own impacts the way we live and understand this great world. Prince Philip, may he rest in peace. He was ever countercultural.